Hey everybody, good morning. It's about 11:18 in the morning on the 21st of September 2021. I would like to do a real quick analysis on Bitcoin. And of course, with everything Bitcoin related, most altcoin markets are likely going to follow suit here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this. Before I get any of it, of course, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your risk, doing your own research. And I'm just giving my opinion on the market. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and dive into the chart and take a look at this. All right. So with Bitcoin, we've been talking about this for quite some time now. Just a couple things to note here. First off, I'm really not a huge fan of this 5 waves that I've got here. Just being completely upfront and honest, not a real big fan of the way that it looks. Like you can count 5 waves there, but I'm not a real huge fan, because this guy right here almost looks corrective. It doesn't look impulsive at all, but we went lower, so we kind of invalidated the point where this could have been a 1-2-1-2 because we went lower. So this almost looks like an AB, right? So this could be an ABC, ABC, and then A, B, C, which would be corrective, which means we have a lot lower to go. But I don't believe that that's the case. If you take a look at indicators here, let me just go ahead and zoom in on the chart and zoom in on the indicators. What we've got is we've got our 12-hour wave, which still has a little bit further down to go. We had a little bit of a buy signal yesterday. And looking at the structure, what we had from the dominant pivot high to the dominant pivot low here, we almost hit that 618 perfectly. And I've said very, very often, 618 is one of the best trades that you can make. And you take profit at that -236. And look what happened. We hit that -236. I did make an alert on our Discord server yesterday that I would take a trade on Bitcoin at 41,000 flat. I did that because of this. I said, okay, well, we hit that 618, so I'm going to buy Bitcoin at 41,000 flat. All right, so that was one of the corrective targets. Now, I still think we can go a little bit lower, and actually our waves are kind of indicating that it is very, very possible. The hourly wave, this green wave, is showing that, we potentially are going to start moving down. And the 12-hour, of course, which is the most dominant force, is also moving down. The 3-hour is the only thing that's giving us some room for upside. But with this, I'm looking at this, and there was one member on the server that brought up a chart earlier today, and it actually it looked really, really great. So I do kind of want to point out what it is that they brought up, because it's completely valid. So from this top right here, this looks like wave A, and then off of this wave A, then we've got wave B, which of course is right up here, which means we're going to be going down for wave C. I'm just going to put wave C out here for right now. I'm going to change the degree on this guy and just kind of focus a little bit on a corrective move from here into what we said potentially is wave 2. So this would be the corrective move that completes here for wave C, which is likely wave 2. Let's just dig in just a little bit. So from here, and likely it's a possible 1, 2 here, and then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 right here. Then we go up for wave 4, and then we go down for wave 5 to finish that move, which means inside of this wave 3 we have an extended third. So we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a thrust into wave 5. And that's going to be, of course, on the smallest degree. We'll change the color a little bit. So that doesn't look bad. That doesn't look bad at all. And actually, this wave 4, let me go ahead and remove this now that we've discussed this. This wave 4 would be a target, taking wave 2 to the bottom of wave 3. That wave 4 target would be right here, about 44,000. Right about 44,000. Am I going to be interested in selling at 44,000? No. What I bought at 41,000 is just to add on to whatever long-term holdings that I have. But right here, you can see we've got the 50 down here at 38,920. We've got the negative 236 that's sitting there 38,440. So this wave 2, which is wave C of that smaller correction, is the ending of that potential wave 5. So off of this 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, A, B, C into the 4, and technically it can go higher. It could go up to 45,000, right? As long as it doesn't go all the way up here, we're okay. Okay, so we can really go anywhere between this 50 and the 618 and still be okay. What I like to do, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I always like to look left. What's my resistance? Well, my resistance, I've got lots of resistance. That's going to be right here. Let's see here. Also, I'm going to have some resistance about right there. So again, that's right there at the 50 and the 618, and that's just basing off of these pivots here, basing off of this pivot here, and then going left. Obviously, this was a strong demand zone. This was a demand zone, demand zone, demand zone. So this area is going to be where we're going to have now supply. It's not going to be demand. It's going to be turned into supply, because you're going to have all these people that bought here, all these people that bought here or higher. They're going to be looking to get out with as little of a loss as possible. Okay, and so that's where you're going to get this supply and demand flip, or the support and resistance flip. So we get up here, I would expect people to start selling, and I would say that it's probably going to accelerate through the end of the month, going down here to potentially 38 to 39,000. That's going to take us right here to the 50. Are we going to go lower than that? Well, it's absolutely possible. It's absolutely possible. I'm going to take a look at one more thing here. Again, I want to keep this brief. I want to keep these videos brief, because I think that's where I'll keep your attention, right? To keep it nice and short. So we're going to take all of those pivots, okay? And off of all of these pivots, again, from the dominant pivot high to the dominant pivot low, and then we get the pullback, or the internal retracement, where we already said that it retraced internally about 61%, 61 to 62% from the dominant pivot high to the dominant pivot low. We had that pullback, and again, that looked like A, B, C. That was a completed correction, in my opinion. And then from there, the 100% is sitting there at 39.5. The 123.6 is down here at 37.6. So here we're going to have a huge demand zone. This is, again, just my opinion. Just my opinion. I'm going to mark it right now. And I've done this in the past with other support and resistance areas, and I'm going to mark it right here. Strong demand zone. And that's going to be, again, right there at the 50 of the larger structure. It's going to be at the 100% equality if we're taking it from the dominant pivot high to the dominant pivot low. We're going to measure that from the internal retracement, which 100% equality is going to be right there at about 39.5. The 50 from the larger is there at 38.9, and we've got the negative 236 of this wave C move, right? We have that negative 236 at the 38.4 level, and the 123.6 at 37.6. This area, I would be highly interested in layering some bids, because, again, looking at the larger structure here, looks to me like we are in a correction after a larger move up, right? So this is a larger move up, to be fair. The big question is this a wave 1, or was this actually an ABC? I don't think it was an ABC. I don't like this, but I don't think that this is an ABC, which is why my bias is to give this a nice strong 1, and then we are in that correction phase, which, you know, for wave 2, it's nice for it to hit the 50. If it gets to the 618, it's a lot lower than I would expect. But again, looking left, you have a lot of areas of confluence. Let me put a line there. And just looking left, you know, this is probably the point of control from this entire area, right? And then, of course, we had this area of resistance, which should now be support. It was already kind of retested right here as support. So if we got back down there, I would expect there to be a little bit of a bounce in that general area. So that is what I think Bitcoin is going to do. I think Ethereum is probably going to do something very similar. But looking at this longer term, if I go to a 4-hour, it's going to make a lot of these things look really hard to see. But let's say for a moment we get right down here to that, let's see, we're going to pull it right down here to the 123.6, which is going to be about 37,750. Let's just talk about that for a moment. What's the upside target for this? If this is a 1-2, wave 3 is going to be sitting here over 100,000. Is this going to be the correction that starts the big move to 100,000? That, my friends, we have to wait and see. Everything is all about probabilities. Nothing is about certainties. Plan the trade the plan, and in this case, the trade would be to be buying somewhere below 40,000, somewhere between 37 and 40,000, buying there, and then holding for 100 to 150% profit, getting up to 100 to maybe even 115,000, which would be almost 200% profit from a 40,000 buy-in. So the bigger question is, are you going to be scared when it gets there, or are you going to take the trade? And I'm not trying to dare anybody to take the trade, but if you do, where are you going to stop out? Well, my stop loss would be here at about 36,000. Now, does that mean that I'm going to take a highly leveraged trade here? No. If I do, it's going to be like a 1 or a 2x. It's not going to be anything significant. And then, of course, I'll be looking to hold this position up to about $100,000. Assuming everything works out the way that I expect it to, I would expect that we're going to get a strong bounce here in where I have marked as this demand zone. More than likely, we're going to get a strong bounce here. As we have already kind of seen, we've already started to see strong bounces. There was a strong bounce here. There's a strong bounce here so far. So I think if we get that third, then that's going to be where this happens. And if we take this just like this, my guess is we're probably going to hit that area potentially at the end of the month, September 24th, September 28th, sometime next week is more than likely when this is going to hit, and then we're going to see this start to move. So again, we've got potential for kind of a like a falling wedge here for this correction. We're counting this as an A, B, C, but this obviously could be a W, X, Y, X, which means it can go higher, and then Z to finish that move. Only time will tell. This is my plan, and I'm sticking to it. That's why I document these things on video. If you have any questions, feel free to hop in our Discord and let me know. If you need access to our Discord, there's all kinds of options available on BitDoctor.org. And if this video did help in any way, shape, or form, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, and a good evening. Take care, everyone.